Hi, I'm Greg McIntyre with the McIntyre Elder Law Report, and we're coming to you today from our Charlotte Uptown office with Miss Mary Kales, who is our benefits director. Hey, Mary.
Hey, good morning.
And our topic today is benefits and working with the Department of Health and Human Services and Social Services. So applying for special assistance, which pays for assisted living care, applying for long-term care Medicaid, which pays for nursing home care, and working with and dealing with social services. It can be a daunting task. Wouldn't you agree, Mary?
Absolutely.
And I know that the social workers at the local DSS who take and process those applications are overworked and they have a large caseload, and we respect them very much. But we're going to talk about the process a little bit and what we deal with on our end and how we help clients qualify for long-term care Medicaid benefits. I'm honored to work with Miss Mary Kales, who I always tout as one of the most knowledgeable people about long-term care Medicaid and special assistance benefits, including CAPS, the CAPS program in North Carolina. And Mary, you've handled how many Medicaid applications in your career?
Oh gosh, probably hundreds.
Hundreds and hundreds, yeah, if not thousands. And you've done that along with our attorneys, and you just are an amazing talent at doing that. And I know you are constantly in study in those manuals. Tell our listeners today about where the rules are listed for special assistance and where they're listed for long-term care Medicaid, and what's the difference? What special assistance pays for what? Assisted living care?
Assisted living care and long-term care Medicaid pays for skilled nursing care.
Right. And assisted living includes, for special assistance, assisted living with memory care, right?
Correct.
Okay. So pays for both. And then I know there were some recent changes, and I put out a little information about that yesterday in the income limits for special assistance. The income limit for assisted living assistance for special assistance to pay for that is it significantly increased this year because of the COLA increase for Social Security, which is about 8.2%, right?
Yeah, it's the first increase that's happened since 2009.
Wow. I mean,
crazy.
so it's been the same, and it was really, I mean, we've seen people who maybe a spouse has died and they get the increased Social Security amount and they're kicked off that program because they go over that income limit. It's a really harsh rule. We don't have a qualified income trust or Miller income trust option in North Carolina to roll over additional income over that amount into that trust with the state as the beneficiary. So if you go over that amount, you do not qualify for that benefit. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you know what the benefit increased to?
Yeah, let me take a look here.
I do, because I just did a little piece about it yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like 1535 and 1737, something like that.
Yep. So that basic level for assisted living, it's 1355 and then 1737.
1355 and 1737. So for standard assisted living, it increased to that 1355.
Mm-hmm.
And then for assisted living with memory care, it increased to 1737. So if you make $1 more than that, 1 penny more than that, you would not qualify for that benefit. Now we would contrast that with long-term care Medicaid that pays for nursing home care, and the income limit for it is you can't make more than the private pay rate of the facility per month, which is most people would qualify for that benefit from the income standpoint, because that would be like 8 to 10 to 12,000 a month, right? So it's a high limit on that side, right? And there's different look back periods for each benefit. What's the look back period for the assisted living benefit special assistance?
3 years, and it's 5 for long-term care Medicaid.
And what does that mean, a look back period, Mary? What do they do during the look back period? People don't understand that sometimes, that it starts at what, the date of application, and then they look back.
And they look back from there. The 3 years for assisted living, 5 for skilled nursing, and they're looking for any kind of transfers, any way that you might have disposed of any assets or income. And honestly, I still think that some of the rules are a little bit unfair, because they're going to consider things that are you wouldn't consider a gift, that they're going to consider a gift and apply a penalty for that.
Right. So they're gonna apply a penalty for anything that that does not comply with their rules, that was transferred wrongly or outside of their rules or against their rules within the last 3 years for assisted living, 5 years for nursing home care. But there's many ways, Mary, and you know a lot of those ways that assets can be transferred even within that look back period, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And now we're going to get to, and thank you for joining us today. We were just joined coming in hot. Attorney my law partner, attorney Britton Begley. Thank you for being here today. You know, Mary's really talking about the benefits program, working with DSS, the Department of Health and Human Services, really just how they apply their rules. Mary's extremely knowledgeable, as you know, about Medicaid in our office, and really, period, and does her deep research. Mary, when you're doing your research for how these benefits work, the nuances, the rules that I think sometimes even local counties and social services have a hard time interpreting. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily uniformly interpreted from county to county, right?
Not.
Right. So where do you go when you need to do that deep research and find out those answers?
I either read the special assistance or the long-term care Medicaid manuals, the same ones that DSS are trained on and practice every day.
So you're digging in those manuals, and I know when you find something where you have a question or where there's a case we're processing or things maybe don't match up or we're trying to figure something out, then you'll get the attorney involved, and we will work on that and look at maybe how to interpret that or how it should be, or if the policy is correct sometimes, you know, right, based on property law or other areas of law that we're really familiar with. So,
right. And I'd ask you too, Mary, when you're reading that manual, is it always clear to you?
It is not. It is not at all.
And the other thing too is, you know, does it encompass all aspects of how the law is going to affect, you know, your status in owning assets, transferring money, things like that? Does it have tax consequences built in? Does it have, you know, property law built in?
It does not. It leaves, you know, quite a few things out, and there's a lot of gray area.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems that especially clients coming to us, asking us questions, trying to get our help to plan for this sort of thing, have with, you know, you can do a lot of Googling, you can even look at the manual, you can go straight to the source, but it is very dynamic because you're talking about not only what Medicaid has laid out as far as their regulations, but it's intertwined with contract law, property law, agency law, and it is incredibly dynamic for anyone to figure out, even an attorney. That's something that we pride ourselves on. One of the reasons why we stay focused on just elder law and not doing other types of things.
That's right. And that's where you get with the attorney and or we all get together and we figure out the solution, right?
Yeah.
We pick up those answers. So, you know, let's say there, you know, and that's where I think people run into problems trying to apply themselves, and why they keep, sometimes, Mary, you know, we'll see people come to us after they've been rejected from applications multiple times so that we can align things correctly or explain them correctly to the Department of Health and Human Services, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if they don't agree, what if they, at a local level at DSS, do not agree with our interpretation, and we know that we're right, or we feel that we're correct on our points of law? What's the avenue? Are they just stuck forever?
No, we might have to pursue a decision appeal through the hearing process.
Right. So there is an appeals process. And then, Brenton, I know you know, if it's denied outright and and maybe we don't win on appeal, what's the avenue to pursue above that internal appeals process?
Yeah, so there is an internal appeals process that's layered in the actual from the county to the state, and it's a couple levels within the actual state itself. So, you know, you can appeal that way, and you can also appeal it to the superior court in the county where you're trying to obtain the benefits and put it before a superior court judge. If you're doing it through the state level, you're going to start with the county, maybe the county supervisor. A lot of times those folks are attorneys. However, they're not an elected judge, an appointed judge. They are, what we would call an administrative officer, and not technically a judge. So if you want to get it before a judge, you can, and that would be in superior court in the county which you're trying to apply.
And then if you had to appeal above that, you'd be appealing to the North Carolina Court of Appeals.
Right. And then possibly the state Supreme Court. It might, if it's a federal issue, you can remove the federal court and go to, the Federal Court of Appeals, Circuit Court, and then Supreme Court after that too. But it's important to know that there is that option, because sometimes getting in front of a judge is hugely important. And as attorneys, we make that strategic decision because there might be a point of law that a judge needs to help decide rather than just putting it in front of the state. And you might get a better understanding of how the law works if you put it in front of the judge.
Agreed. And that's not a route that we want to take. I remember early on in my career doing Medicaid planning and emergency cases that I would come up with the most beautiful, complex plans that worked under the rules that I saw, that made total sense to me. But then when I presented them to social services, they wanted to smack me and also tell me that, what are you thinking? What is this mess? What is this complex thing? So we know how to boil those things down now into the simplest, most understandable plan possible under the rules that we know social services is used to.
Yeah. And because we've worked with them quite a bit too. And, quite frankly, after the thousands and thousands of cases that we've done with all 100 counties in this state, they've learned, a lot from us. We've learned a lot from them, how they react to certain things, but they've learned a lot from us too. And that, education has assisted in being able to, hands a fully completed application over with the qualification that we've done, and they understand where we're coming from. That's not to say that we won't take it to the, superior court if needed, because sometimes you need to, it reminds me a lot of tax law. I have a tax background, and if you study tax law, a lot of it is litigation based, because, try to exploit some type of provision in the tax code, and the government didn't like it, and you got to go to court over it, and it is what it is. If the law is written, where you can take advantage of a certain provision, then you should be allowed to, and you shouldn't just throw your hands up and give up if the county doesn't let you do that.
Yeah. Mary and I had one last year, didn't we, Mary, where we actually changed and set policy in the essay manuals for local social services. And I would say reciprocally in my career and in our practice, it's been an exchange of information between social services locally and the attorneys at the state level, DHHS. I know I've learned and grown a ton working with them over the years, and they've taught us plenty, and vice versa. Every once in a while we'll score a win too. And that feels good. So it's a good dance, and it's needed. So, iron sharpens iron, right? Or just that game and that process helps us. And like Brenton said, it's important to stand up for yourself, your loved ones, and to receive the benefits that you deserve. We want the applications to go through smoothly and quickly, and 99 times out of 100 they do.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be scared to go to the next level either, or challenge, right.
Because, less importantly for the individual client, but more importantly for folks, broadly, any time we can take a case to court and, really work through those issues, that helps a lot of folks because we clarify points of law that can be used as precedent in the next case. So no client wants to be a guinea pig. And certainly we never want to take that opportunity if we can go a better route, an easier route, a quicker route. And like you said, 99% of the time we can do that. But if you're that one case, it also helps to just take it, stick it to them, really take it to the court, figure it out, because not only will that help you in your situation, but you'll have an impact on everybody else who's trying to apply and get benefits that they rightly should get.
So out there, if you have any questions about how to apply for a benefit for assisted living or nursing home care in North Carolina for a loved one, there's some important elements of that. That's why estate planning ahead of time is extremely important. General durable power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, living will, those foundational work. That's important, Mary, the general durable and the healthcare when you're making the application, correct?
Of course, yes. Extremely important.
Yeah. And those are things we want to sit down and talk about. Sometimes we have to pursue guardianship as part of this application process, and you can still achieve asset preservation and benefits qualification even within the guardianship. Certainly easier to do that if the person has been proactive and planned ahead and put in place that financial guardian or financial appointed agent under the power of attorney, or healthcare agent under the healthcare power of attorney. And we would love to help. If you want to do your own independent research, again, you can go to the Medicaid manual and the SA manual and give us those. I know they have some numbers, right? The specific designations. What's the special assistance manual, Mary, for assisted living?
So they actually have some different sub categories, but the main ones for skilled nursing that we use are MA 2230 and MA 2240. And then special assistance has theirs broken down as well.
Yep. So you can usually Google that and find that. It's public record, right? And I'd invite people to do that. And we want to be a great source of information here at McIntyre Elder Law to you and freely give that. We offer free consults to sit down and discuss your issues. And our number is 1-888-999-6600, or you can schedule right online. Tons of information on our website as well at mcelderlaw.com. And, I'm just blessed to work with really smart, skilled, and talented people like Mary Kales and Britton Begley, and the other folks that I work with, both in the benefits department and other departments in our firm. So anything else to close out the subject, guys?
Just thanks for letting me pop on.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you popping on this meeting. This morning, and I know you were tied up in some other meetings, so I appreciate you being here. And we'll come to you every week with a new episode and more information on the Elder Law Report.